Today on What's Next, we're shining the spotlight on older influencers who are changing the world. Men and women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond who are becoming social media sensations.
You can find me in the bottom of my bottle.
They're smashing stereotypes and showing us all what it means to be growing bolder.
They'll offer me peanuts, and I just say no, because I know that you are treating younger influencers differently.
That's all ahead on What's Next. Hello and welcome into What's Next. I'm Mark Middleton here with Bill Schaefer, Amy Sweezy, and Cecily Wilson, all here today to talk about a relatively new phenomenon. You know, this is something that has turned the media world and the advertising world upside down. We've always said that the most powerful voice has always been the voice that we can relate to, the voice of someone like us, which is why we're focusing today on the growing power and impact of social media influencers. Specifically, we're going to talk about those who are over the age of 50. Of course, some of them only reinforce the negative stereotypes of age, but a growing number of them are actually smashing them on Instagram and TikTok, on Facebook and YouTube. Adults over 50 are now the fastest growing demographic on almost every social media platform. They're also the fastest growing group of influencers. They're sharing how to lose weight, to get into shape, how to dress and cook and garden, how to make new friends, and how to get over broken relationships. They're having fun and they're embracing their creativity. All right, Cecily and Amy, let's start with what really is one of the most popular categories of viral reels these days, dance trends. What do you guys make of the number of older adults who are out there joining in on these trends? Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a great thing. I don't know, there's one of the videos, you should see me in that, somewhere over there. I love it. I think it gives you that exercise, it gives you that, hey, I'm old, but I can still get it on. Alrighty, I love it. So I love it.
I love it too. It's so great because we only saw young people for so long because they were the ones who knew how to use social media. But now that older people are learning how to use it, they're like, ooh, look at this. I can show off my skills just like the younger kids can.
You know, I can see Cecily dancing to a trend on TikTok. Amy, I cannot see you. Not that you couldn't do it, but the introvert in you wouldn't allow it. But, you know, if they're not dancing, they are singing. Social media has launched countless careers. I mean, singer-songwriters have found the perfect place to experiment, to build up an audience, to attract attention. And the power and appeal of this tool, it's undeniable now. Just listen to a bit of a new original song called Bottom of the Bottle by Woody Williams. This is a guy in his mid-70s who has now attracted nearly 4 million followers on his TikTok channel called Funky Geezer Show.
You can find me in the bottom of my bottle. It's the only place that I can hide.
An original tune from Funky Geezer. And Bill, in our series Boulder Backstage, you've interviewed, you know, really some of the biggest names in music. I mean, these are icons who didn't have the benefit of social media. They needed record deals, they needed distribution deals, they needed marketing teams. What do you think about, what do they think about how social media is changing their business?
It's changed it in every way from the ground up. The music industry is unrecognizable as to what it was. Mark, it's interesting that all of the names from the biggest on down insist that music is not a spectator sport. It's to participate in, and boy does social media make that happen. And you know why people are really tuning in to some of the older musicians and older performers, the regular guys that are putting their stuff up? Because in our generation, we grew up playing live. playing in front of audiences for years and years, whether it was, on your driveway or whether it was in the local restaurant or the local club. Younger people aren't really doing that as much. They're using their Pro Tools and they're at home all by themselves. So by the time older musicians are making and posting their videos, They're seasoned. They've been through it. Their playing is great, and that's why they're making such a big impact. And social media has been a boom just for people wanting to express themselves through music.
You know, guys, we see all kinds of messaging out there on these platforms. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, depending, of course, on what you're looking for. So if you are looking for the good, you can check out some of the thousands of motivational speakers who are in their later years and they're passing on life's wisdom. Mark, I would like to ask you, these little bits of advice, all these stories that we see out there, do you think that that can actually make an impact on the environment that we're in when it's really been younger people that have been the focus of this for so long?
You know, Amy, it's a great question, and I think the potential to make an impact is really off the charts. There's always been, I think, an understanding to some extent about the wisdom of elders, the value of experience. But in the past 100 years or so, our culture has become so fragmented, so separated by age, and so ageist that many younger people really have no exposure to older adults. So yes, their presence in social media can be incredibly valuable and impactful, but I gotta say, you also see a lot of comments from younger people saying older people don't belong on this platform, get off of it. So there is a little bit of conflict, but I think sooner or later they're gonna realize the value of the wisdom that these older influencers have.
Yeah, so the cool thing is that whatever it is you're passionate about doing, there is a place for it online. There's older adults across all platforms who are showing off their skills and proving to the world that we can keep doing what we love as long as we want. I mean, we're talking athletes, there's artists, clothing designers, crafters, jugglers, fitness coaches, and a whole lot more. So Bill, I want to ask you, do you think that we can change ageist perspectives by watching these types of videos and seeing these kinds of social posts?
Oh, the answer is yes, yes, and yes. I love what's going on right now. It wasn't that long ago that the only time you would see an older person is if they were like a fringe, if it was something really wacky or really over the top. But now look, these are regular people having fun doing all kinds of things. So what we're doing, you know, you can talk about, well, younger people, we're blurring the line between young and old. It's all becoming the same thing. We're participating in the same activities, posting the same kind of things. So I think eventually it can't help but bring all of the ages together and all kinds of people together for the better.
Yeah, I think it really shows that literally age is nothing but a number. If we could do it successfully in our younger years and we still do it, it creates fun and activity. And when you're older, fun is really that driving force that keeps you going. When you stop, then everything else stops. So keep going on TikTok. Again, you can find everything you possibly want to find right there in any form.
I think everybody has to have a passion in their life. You know, there's a saying, a life without passion is a life half lived, and it's always been my passion.
Welcome back, everyone, to What's Next as we continue our dive into Bold Social. If you haven't been on TikTok yet, maybe now's the perfect time to give it a try. You don't have to wander aimlessly through. Try following Growing Bolder, because we're creating and aggregating short snippets of inspiration, motivation, and possibility right on our page every single day. If you're still a little unsure, we're going to give you a sample right here, right now. Cecily, what's one of your favorite videos from Growing Bolder on TikTok?
Oh my goodness, there was so hard to pick just one, but one of my favorites would be Miss Stephanie. And when you see this, you'll know why.
You don't usually see someone my age doing like hip hop and moving like that. I think everybody has to have a passion in their life. You know, there's a saying, a life without passion is a life half lived, and it's always been my passion. Find the thing that really floats your boat and just do it. Yeah, don't let anybody naysay you, because you never know until you try.
When you hear Miss Stephanie talk about dance and the love of dance, I mean, it just drives me because I'm a dancer by nature. And when I see her on TikTok just doing her thing, it just inspires me even more. And if it doesn't, you might want to think, get up off the chair and bust a move just a little bit.
I love Miss Stephanie. I loved meeting her. She's a fantastic person. My favorite video that I chose from the Growing Bolder TikTok channel is actually the Mark Middleton sitting on a beanbag chair.
Shut up, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
And that's it. And I watch it over and over and over again for a couple of reasons. Number one, it just makes me laugh. Mark, it's so funny. Number two, the message. Obviously, I love the message. And number three, the giant defy behind your head, which of course is a tribute to our Wendy Chioggi, who was part of the Growing Bolder team, who passed away from cancer a few years ago. So just all the emotions rolled into one tiny little snippet of a TikTok.
Well, thank you for that, Amy. It's actually one of my least favorite of all. Yeah, we were actually just trying to jump on a TikTok trend, which is what you do. The algorithm supports that. If something's going viral, you do the same thing. I got a lot of problems with that one, but thank you for that. You know, what I really like is that we share not just inspiration and entertainment, but also wisdom, important information from some of our friends and experts like Amy O'Rourke, who shares tips like this one for the growing number of caregivers among all of us.
I think a parent having a memory problem is the most challenging, more than cancer, more than any other chronic illness. A memory impairment's the hardest one because you're losing them, but they're physically still there. And there are strategies that make it easier. And the biggest one is don't correct them. As much as you want to, don't correct them. Don't make them wrong.
You know, that is such simple but profound advice, because it's a mistake that nearly every family makes when a loved one does have Alzheimer's or any other related dementia. You can't bring them back. You can only go with them. So I thank Amy for that kind of information. Bill, what about you? What'd you like?
You know, personally, I'm along those same lines, Mark. I like the videos that give you insight into somebody or something that you never had. For instance, on Growing Bolder's Bolder Backstage segment, we met a big star, Jonathan Cain from Journey. He's the one who wrote Don't Stop Believin', Open Arms, Separate Ways. But clips like this show you that the man is just as interesting as the musician.
Many times I was told, oh, you should get a day job. You know, this songwriting thing's not for you, and you can't sing, and just rejection upon rejection. And out of pain, something new is born. Out of pain, something new is born.
Isn't that great? I mean, we see these stars and all we see is a success. We don't know the heartache, the suffering that they went through, and how easy it would have been for them to give in, just like us. Who knew? You know, they're really not so different. Maybe that's why his songs hit home. In any case, there's a lot of great stuff. Some fun, some helpful, but all inspiring. Here's how to find it. Go to TikTok and follow Growing Bolder.
They'll offer me peanuts, and I just say no. I know that you are treating younger influencers differently, and I know this for a fact.
Welcome back to this bold social edition of What's Next. In our most recent issue of Growing Bolder magazine, our cover story is called Women of Influence. We're shining the spotlight on influencers over the age of 50. You can read the entire article on growingbolder.com to learn more about these social media trendsetters. One of them is Gail McNeil, better known as 50 Sister. I recently chatted with Gail from her home in Portugal, and she acknowledged that while older influencers have the audience, they still don't have the monetary respect that companies are giving younger influencers.
So I've got 180,000 followers on Instagram, which is a lot. It is a lot. But companies come to me and then they'll say, oh, can we work together? And then they'll offer me, I'm not going to mention numbers, but they'll offer me peanuts, literally free products or something like that. And they want an Instagram story, a post, a reel, something on TikTok. And I just say no. I say no. And they said, but we'll send you products. And I said, no, because I know that you are treating younger influencers differently. And I know this for a fact. So you'll see on my channel that I don't promote any products, because no, but I haven't come across any companies yet who pay a fair price for older influencers' content. These companies will not pay older influencers. So I'm kind of getting one up on that because I'm doing my own thing. I've got my own t-shirt line, I've got my own Facebook group, and I'm soon to be writing a lifestyle book. So I'm doing it on my own. So as I always say, knickers to them, I'm going to do it anyway.
And that's an eye-opening conversation there, Mark. Kind of frustrating, too. I think some might assume if you've got hundreds of thousands of followers, you'd automatically be profiting off it, but it doesn't seem to be the case here. What do you think about that? What would you say to these companies about why they should be paying these influencers and what they're potentially missing out on?
In a word, Bill, I would say it's ageism. It's really the extension of the same issue that we have seen in all of media for so many years. I mean, here's the latest statistics. Adults over 50 now control 78% of all discretionary income in this country. That's $3.7 trillion. And they don't just have it, they spend it. And not just on pharmaceuticals and, walk-in bathtubs and those devices that scream, help me, I can't get up. We spend more online than younger adults do. We spend more on homes, we spend more on cars, we spend more on vacations, we spend more on fashion and fitness. Companies don't think they have to actively target older adults to get our business, and most who do target them don't know how to do it. And here's one of the reasons why. The average age of staff in an agency, the creative staff, their average age is now in their mid-20s. So what's the problem? They don't know how to talk to older adults, but they better learn how to do it pretty quickly.
I am 100% agreeing with you. You're missing out on money. That's it. The older generation has the money and they have those discretionary funds to use. So when you are alienating us from those opportunities, then you're missing out your dollars for yourself and an audience that would want to buy your product. So 100% on point, Mark.
And hopefully they can get on board with the fact that there's value in an older voice. There's value in the experience and the knowledge that comes from living all of these years. So once they understand that, then I think they put their money, where their mouth is, so to speak, and they can value it with actual cash.
Maybe the bottom line there is businesses are not necessarily risk takers, but they are copiers. And what it's going to take is for one of these people to break through, to slam through the wall or glass or whatever you want to call it, and become a big celebrity and become a big spokesperson and have successful campaigns. And then I think everybody's going to jump in and go after this demographic, because there's no denying the statistics that Mark pointed out. We're coming. We're coming.
That's right.
Welcome back to What's Next. It is time now for Your Take, where we ask our 1 million followers on Facebook to join in the conversation with us. Now, this week we asked, share a specific time that social media positively impacted your life. Jan connected to a long-lost relative, her son's half-sister, while Suzanne says that she met her husband online 25 years ago. Brenda was delighted to see younger members of her extended family keep in touch using Facebook and keep their contacts going for another generation. Nancy says, I was compassionately persuaded to go vegan by some wonderful, kind souls. And finally, Carol said she was logging the books that she read on an app called Library Thing, and then she got to know others in her area that were also using the app, and they started a book club that decided to meet in person. How about you? A time that social media has positively impacted your life. Bill?
Mine was a little over a year ago. My dad passed away, and how bizarre is this? We're just talking about ageism and all. I was contacted by a guy who was in the Navy with him, who saw that he passed away. The guy was in his 90s. It was in World War II, but just reached out to make a connection. That just blew me away. It was somebody that I'd never heard of, never met. He told me a few stories that I never, ever would have heard any other way.
I was an early adopter of Twitter, and so when I first got on Twitter, there weren't that many people on, so you could actually have conversations with people. And my birthday, November 4th, is the same day as Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid fame, right? So Ralph Macchio wished me personally a happy birthday on Twitter because we share the same birthday.
You know, here I think is the moral of the story for all of us. It was not that long ago you actually needed a production company or a newspaper or television and radio network to reach a broad audience. But today you only need this, a smartphone, an internet connection, and a message that resonates to make a living for yourself and make a difference in the lives of others. For my money, the most valuable influencers in this new social media world are those of any age who espouse personal growth and self-love. Those who share their own life experiences, good and bad, in order to help others realize that more is possible, that life is for living, and there's always hope for all of us to live a bigger, bolder what's next. We'll see you next time.